So, hey everyone, I'm normally in the video for my video, excuse me, but I haven't been well recently. But I finished this book at 2 in the morning and really wanted to get my review out and my thoughts and opinions and how much I did actually enjoy this book. Even though it took me, I think, 2 months just because I had like a reading slump, so I didn't want to read for a while. But this is a 382 page book where it's young adult, kind of mystery, who did it type of book. But it's a thriller as well because there's a lot of people dying. Yeah, so I generally did really like this book. There was some details that probably didn't need to be in there. There is a lot of people dying, so there is some kind of gruesome stuff, but it's not too bad. When I told my husband about it, he was like, that's nothing compared to the Jurassic Park Lost World book he read recently. That was gruesome, but I don't really like gruesome things, so I tend to cringe at that. I'll try and keep the review as short as sweet as possible. But yeah, so I did generally like this book. I do like the cover as well. It's simple, it's nice, and it's kind of smoky on the back, so it gives you the perfect kind of Halloween vibes. But it says on the back, I'll read the blurb. It says Plum Winter has always been in the shadow of her sister, the famous uber cool online personality Peach Winter. She interprets an invite to an exclusive high-end festival for influencers on a private island in the Caribbean, determined that now is her time to shine. But when Plum and 7 other social media stars rock up, the island is run down, creepy, with none of the glitz and glamour promised. They've been tricked, but by who and why? The answer arrives as people start to die. Someone has a vendetta against every person present, and someone is determined to make sure no one leaves the island alive. A deliciously dark, wickedly funny thriller to obsess over. So that's what kind of drew me to the book, because it's kind of dark and yeah. So, and this is by the author Pearsons, who's done other books as well called Still Waters, Holding On to You, previously titled The Falling Between Us, Girls Save the World in this one. Sorry about the banging, it's just that I live with other people, so, and this is the only time I really have to film. So we have the three girls here: Peach, Marlowe, Sophia. If I've pronounced Marlowe properly, and I'm sorry that if I miss characters or pronounce something wrong, it's generally due to my memory and disability that I can't remember everyone. But I took all the juicy info out and kind of interesting stuff. But we have a cold opening where Peach is describing how she's on the cliff edge and she's about to die and that she's going to be stabbed. Obviously the killer is not revealed right at the beginning, but my husband was really happy that I was like, oh, you said cold opening, and I was like, because it is, because it's like a 3-page cold opening where it just describes Plum Winter, how she's expected to die and that how she felt in that. And this is on the island of Pyre Festival. So obviously a lot of it is to do with social media. Instagram is mentioned, and how, you know, all the influencers have done something and that's why they deserve to kind of die, which I think is, when we get to the end of the book, we find out exactly why. And I think it is such a sad and tragic thing to happen to someone. But yeah, so we have Plum in the cold opening kind of describing how she's on the cliff edge and how she's going to die like this, and that she doesn't want to die, but that she kind of, Plum just wants to be somebody because her sister Peach is a big influencer on social media, doesn't really talk to Plum, hasn't messaged, hasn't really phoned, hasn't really seen her, and her family just accepted that and that she's always busy, but Plum just wants her sister. So an invitation turns up that was originally for Peach because her mail is still going to her old address, and that Plum wants to be somebody so bad and she wants to make something of herself. So she asked her two best friends, Sophia and Marlowe, to come along with her on this island thing festival that's meant to be glitzy and glam and, you know, a really big thing. So they all accept the invitation and they go onto this island where it's nothing how it's described, and they meet other influencers. I can't pronounce that word properly. They meet other people who are there because they had the invite and they took the invite. And so we meet this big group of people where most of them are gonna kind of um you know, die anyway, but the most important characters are Plum, Sophia, Marlowe, Peach. I think it's Jalen, Jude, and Cece who make it towards the end. So yeah, so they take up the invitation, and obviously Plum does feel guilty because she puts her friends in a situation where they could possibly kill her, but then they didn't know what they were going into. Um, So yeah, so they get to the island, they find that it's not what it seems, they have no reception, they can't make calls, they can't, you know, get any help or anything, but that Plum made a post about going, and eventually Peach will see this and she will turn up as well. But in between all of this, there is a lot of die-ins, different explosions. The cottage kind of got blown up and people died, and then at the beginning, someone was poisoned. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of kind of death in here in great detail for a very long book, and a really good plot twist. And for each time someone dies, I've kind of left markers in the book that there's a poem. So this person, who I can't pronounce the name of, wanted to be the woman of the hour. Instead, she was choked by those delicate flowers. Aiming to have absolute influence, she became the most toxic infant. Will you be next? Look around, guess who's the killer? Will they confess? And where was the poison, the flower that was rich? Perhaps it was always inside this horrible person for an excuse. So this killer is very poem person, but each time someone dies, the killer is always leaving notes on the body of why that person died, and some really cheesy like poem in their mouth. And most of the book is just basically different people being killed off until we have our final group who makes it. So, and then another poem is: he travelled the world, he went round and then some, just him and his girls, the chickens, a6 listen up, dummies, it's not about the birds, just that this guy is the biggest of turds. You you all are found guilty, your sentence is death, and when you lie lifeless, only then will I rest. Was the inference worth it? Do you regret it one bit, or are you, like Sean, a complete piece of human waste? No, I won't rest. I'll keep killing some more. Just some fun keeping the score. So yeah, so each time you can see that there's poems. The thing that I like about this book is that it's broken up into, so you've got sections. So you've got the second day, you've got day one, and then you've got the final day. But yeah, we kind of trying to wrap this up. We find out that dude is the killer, all because of a video that went viral when he was younger, and that he's got so much embarrassment and stuff, and that he wanted the viral video to just die. But then each of Peach, you know, all the influence apart from Plum, Marlowe, and Sophia didn't know about the video, but the others did, and they kind of posted it and brought it back to resurface. So dude wanted to get his revenge by killing everyone on there for using his video, for keep bringing it back up. And they all eventually get off the island, well, not Dude, because he, believe it or not, Plum, you come back to the opening scene where Plum kind of thinks she's going to die, but then we find out that the goat basically has had enough of Dude and literally headbutts him in the legs, that sends him flying over the cliff with his weapon. So luckily they all managed to get out, because Dude wanted to burn the house down in order to you know, kill off the remainders by locking them in their rooms so they couldn't escape. But with Peach being Peach, she grabs her shoe and finds some drywall and starts punching it, and has managed to get through to Plum, Sophia, and Marlowe, where Plum and Peach kind of have a heart to heart and, you know, say that they actually need each other and stuff like that. But throughout the book, Plum has this really specific crush on Marlowe, and she talks a lot about how pretty she is, her skin being so smooth, and that her lips are looking really good. And at the end of the book, after Plum and Peach have like their heart to heart, after the killer has finally gone over the cliff, and Marlowe and Plum actually do kiss and become girlfriends, which Marlowe did notice her being the way she was being, which is quite nice. So we have some nice LB. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce but we have some pride in here as well. I'll just call it pride. So if you are a person who likes reading pride books and you like a little bit of that stuff in the books as well, this doesn't have too much in it, but there is girl on girl crush, and they do finally get together right at the end of the book after their ordeal. But obviously Plum feels guilty for taking her friends through that. But they forgive her, and that they're angry at her at first, but then they forgive her. But because Peach made a post when she was in the helicopter on her way here, a boat does turn up to save them, because obviously they have no reception or anything. So that is how they get off the island, is by Peach and this other random dude turning up. I think that was Peach's boyfriend. Yeah, so I'll keep it really short and sweet. So a summary of the book is an island where people die and there's one killer trying to kill them all over a video that was posted when he was younger, and obviously he wants to get payback for these people who keep bringing the video back up, and they won't let it like rest or anything. So, as I say, I really like this book. It was 382 pages. It did keep me hooked, and I did manage to get through all of the book, which is great, and I love that. But it just took me a couple of months just because I had a really bad reading slump. So there is some poems as well, and it does kind of make you think who is the killer, because there's no one else on the island that it could be. It's got to be one of them. It was cleverly planned out. Dude kind of went above and beyond to make, because he even made an app for it as well. So like the app would come up with words, and it would be like melt your face off and red blood as well, that he would make to try and thingy. But then he would also get it as well, so he didn't get suspect until Plum, Sophia, and Marlowe towards the end, because they have to keep doing like different watches in order so they can try and survive. So yeah, so that's basically it about this book. So as I say, if you love mystery, kind of who did it, on an island in the Caribbean where you've got no help, no contact to the outside world, then this is definitely for you. I did put some tabs in, but this is a library book, so I can't write in this, so that's why I've got tabs. But Dude was known as the wizard kid back then, and that Plum didn't even know who he was until he pointed out. So, but the fact that Plum, Marlowe, and Sophia, he wanted to kill them too, just because they were there and they weren't technically on the list. But yeah, I highly recommend this book, and I'm I'm going to give it 5 stars, because even though there was a lot of detail in there that I didn't really, you know, bring into this video, there was enough for me that I finished the book and that I did enjoy it and that I did want to read more. So yeah, I highly recommend this book, and especially for the spooky season as well. So please like, subscribe and comment, and if you got all the way to the end of this video, comment a cat emoji, and I really appreciate it. And any likes, comment and subscribers, I would really appreciate that too, because that helps me get towards my goal of having a book / gaming channel / colouring. So yeah, thank you for watching.